The exercise of the right of reply has been requested. May I remind members that statements in the exercise of the right of reply are limited to 10 minutes for the first intervention and to 5 minutes for the second intervention, and should be made by delegations from their seats. I call on the representative of Mali.
Merci, Madame.
Thank you, Madam President. The delegation of Mali does not aim to exercise its right of reply. Nonetheless, personal attacks, condescending attacks waged by the Algerian Minister of Foreign Affairs compel us to intervene, to correct the untruths we heard. Out of respect for the decorum of this august assembly and the good that the United Nations embodies, my delegation will not lower itself to the level of the invective and basically indecent attacks proffered by the Algerian Minister of Foreign Affairs. By doing this, Algeria deliberately decided not to mention at all the events which resulted in unprecedented tensions between our two countries. On our side, we would like to reiterate what Mali has said earlier. This is the statement delivered by Abdoulaye Maïga, Prime Minister and Head of Government of the Republic of Mali on the 26th of September 2025. He recalled that current tensions between our two countries are rooted in, first and foremost, in the unacceptable interference of the Algerian regime in the internal affairs of Mali. The Malian people decided to take charge of its fate and take ownership of the peace process. There were then disputes regarding the destruction by the Algerian armed defense forces of surveillance and reconnaissance drones of the Malian armed and security forces in the night between the 31st of March and the 1st of April 2025. A few hours after the incident transpired, the Malian government learned from the press of a communique issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Algeria claiming ownership for the destruction of a drone which purportedly violated Algerian airspace 2 kilometers. In order to conduct an in-depth investigation, the Malian authorities requested from the Algerian authorities to provide them the evidence underpinning their allegations. Over 72 hours later, no satisfactory follow-up was provided by the Algerian party. Following our own investigations and on the basis of scientific proof that was published on the 6th of April 2025 in a communique, the government of Mali drew a conclusion of which it is absolutely certain. The drone of the Malian Armed and Security Forces was destroyed following a premeditated hostile act waged by the Algerian regime. This conclusion is underpinned by the following. First, the guilty silence of the regime in Algeria and its refusal to cooperate. Second, specific data about the trajectory of the aircraft recorded by our systems unambiguously proves that the drone never left the airspace of the Republic of Mali. What's more is liaison with the drone and location information, all of it is located on Malian national territory. As I'm sure you understand, these allegations of supposed violation of Algerian airspace are absolutely absurd in light of the above. After all, the debris of the drone was found within Malian territory, over 9 kilometers from the Algerian border. How could it have ended up there if it was within Algerian territory, 2 kilometers within? This violates the laws of physics. It's simply impossible. It's simply impossible for the drone to have ended up there. This is clearly an unprecedented attack, unprecedented in the relationship between our two countries. This hostile act unfriendly and condescending is further proof, if there was ever any need for it, of the fact that the Algerian regime is sponsoring international terrorism in Mali and the Sahel. Indeed, the destruction of the Malian drone clearly sought to undermine the neutralization of armed groups who have claimed that they've conducted terrorist acts. Faced with these attacks and a refusal to cooperate on the part of the Algerian regime, the government of the Republic of Mali decided to institute proceedings with the International Court of Justice. Regrettably, even though it's unsurprising, it's regrettable that the Algerian regime refused to recognize the jurisdiction of the ICJ. As a way of defending itself, the Algerian regime claims to respect this international jurisdiction. It's easy to see that this Malian drone that was shot down is a source of embarrassment for the junta in Algeria. Indeed, if the Algerian regime had any respect for the international system as it claims to have, it would have accepted to submit supposed proof it has in its at its disposal to the ICJ. The Algerian regime, through its actions, is rejecting international legality. This attests to the fact that it is clearly guilty before the world. The lack of transparency on the part of Algeria vis-à-vis the ICJ is grist to the mill of the Malian government. That is, the fact that the drone was destroyed. It's further proof of the fact that Algeria supports terrorist groups. The government of Mali deplores the fact that instead of responding to the facts we've established and documented, the Algerian regime has opted for defamatory invective to try and conceal its support for extremist groups, including the terrorist leaders that were targeted by the downed Malian drone. We denounce this flagrant violation committed by Algeria against my country in contravention of Mali's efforts to support the FLN and the support we provided to our neighbours, our brothers, our friends, the people of Algeria during their liberation struggle. Thus, the government of Mali As a consequence, the government of Mali reaffirms its call for the Algerian regime to put an end to this unacceptable interference in the domestic affairs of Mali, as well as its support to terrorist groups which are destabilizing the Sahel. The Algerian regime would be better served to focus its efforts on its own contradictions and the government's challenges, which are vast and from which it has been distracted. We call on the Algerian regime to change its approach and to improve its relations with neighbours working in good faith for stability, collective security and sustainable development in the region in full respect for the sovereignty of states. By way of conclusion, I'd like to reassure you that the Malian government will spare no effort in defending our national territory and ensuring that we protect our people and our property. I thank you.
I call on the representative